Walk onto any casino floor at 3 in the morning, and you won't find a single pit boss who could genuinely tell you whether the roulette wheel is about to land on red or black. They exist in a state of total ignorance about the very next spin. And the strange thing is, nobody who works there is bothered by that in the slightest. But ask that same pit boss a different question. Instead of asking what happens on the next spin, ask what happens across the next 50,000 spins. Suddenly, you are talking to someone who can tell you, with extreme accuracy, exactly what the building is going to earn this quarter. This is the core mechanic of the house. Total blindness on the isolated immediate event paired with near-perfect mathematical certainty on the outcome underneath 10,000 of them. Now hold that calm mathematical certainty up against how most people actually trade. Every time a retail trader clicks a button, that single entry gets loaded with the full emotional weight of a roulette spin, as if this specific trade has to land right, or the whole business is in question. When a loss hits, it doesn't register as one ordinary outcome inside a much bigger picture. It registers as a verdict. It feels like proof that something is wrong, and a concrete reason to completely change the plan again tomorrow morning. The natural response to a stinging loss is to assume the problem was a lack of knowledge. So you add another indicator, another confirmation signal, another rigid rule bolted onto your criteria, ensuring that specific loss never happens again. Here's the reality of stacking rules. Every new condition you add is a new thing that has to line up perfectly. You end up with more rejected setups and more near misses where the market goes exactly where you expected, just without you in the trade, because your seventh confirmation signal didn't fire in time. You aren't becoming a better, more disciplined trader in this loop. You are becoming a more sophisticated worrier. Elaborate complexity in a trading system is frequently just fear wearing a disguise. There is a specific mechanical reason a painful loss echoes so loudly in your head. Picture a setup that looks nearly identical to one that burned you 3 weeks ago. Same pattern, same general context, different day. Your brain doesn't process that new setup on its own merits. Instead, it reaches back, grabs the memory of the previous loss, and quietly attaches all of that old pain directly onto the things sitting in front of you right now. Your nervous system is projecting an old wound onto a completely new, mathematically unrelated situation. This psychological glitch creates 2 immediate execution errors. First, the fear of having your judgment proven wrong, which makes you wait for one extra candle of confirmation and gets you into the trade late at a worse price. Second, the fear of the loss itself, which drives you to widen your stop loss, hoping the market will spare you the discomfort of admitting the trade didn't work. Then comes the fear of missing out, which turns a disciplined trader into someone chasing a candle 3 minutes after the actual entry window closes. And finally, the fear of leaving money on the table, pure greed that slowly erodes your exit rules until you're holding a position long past your planned target. Every one of these reactions hijacks your execution for a simple reason. The human brain is wired to survive isolated, immediate threats. It is not built to process mass probabilities. These 4 fears only disappear when you genuinely accept, in advance, that the outcome you are afraid of is simply part of the deal. Being wrong and taking a loss are normal, expected, unavoidable features of operating a probabilistic edge. A player sitting at the table is completely incapable of this acceptance. They are emotionally inside every single hand, tracking whether they are up or down for the night, letting every card carry heavy personal meaning about their shift as a whole. The dealer stands at that exact same table and watches the exact same cards fall, but experiences none of that pull. There's no personal stake riding on which side wins a particular round, because winning that single round was never actually the job. The job is running the shift correctly, deal after deal, for 8 straight hours. The shift that separates traders who last from traders who burn out is a deliberate change in perspective. You have to move out of the emotional player's seat and adopt the mechanical, detached job of the dealer. To operate your account like the house, you need an architecture built on 3 fixed, mathematically calculated numbers. These are decided in advance, and they are never altered mid-session. Here is how to establish your first pillar, the edge. Pull your last 100 trades and calculate your actual win rate. Not the win rate you assume you have, but the one the hard data says you have. This gives you a specific mathematical advantage. The second pillar is your payout table. You set a strict risk-to-reward target based directly on that math. Once that ratio is printed into your plan, it is the one you hold to on every single trade, regardless of how confident you feel. The third is your table limit, a strict maximum risk percentage allowed per trade. A casino doesn't quietly raise limits during a hot night, and it doesn't panic lower them during a cold one. The number survives the shift regardless of how it goes. If your position size and targets are heavily influenced by how your last few trades went, rather than these 3 fixed numbers, you aren't trading like a professional, you are gambling with a spreadsheet. You can test which chair you are sitting in right now. Notice your internal reaction the exact second a stop-loss triggers. If there's a flash of anger or the urge to immediately win it back, that's the gambler. If your reaction is a quick mechanical check of your rules to see if the entry and size were correct, that's the dealer. The house never worries about the next hand. It only worries about running the same game by the exact same rules, letting the numbers work. Stop tracking every trade like it's a referendum on your worth. Surrender the illusion that you can control the next single spin. Step over to the dealer's side of the table and start acting like the house.